Welcome. I am the first of 9 in a creative raid train today. So today we are going to make, I'm going to make a little Easter, I'm calling it a vignette in my head. I feel like it might be a little bit too big for that. Like, I think of vignettes and I think of the little teeny tiny things, but this is obviously going to be big because this is my starting off point. And so I started out with this tray, which is wood, but it had all this lovely design on it. But I didn't want it to stay wood because that doesn't really go with my decor, and it also doesn't really make it look very springy. So you could do more, layer after layer, kind of depending on the look that you're going for. But see if I can get a close-up on the inside. No, I really can't. To let you all see, like this inside right here, thank you. Already you can kind of see what the chippy brush does. You can see still some of the wood, but you've got that white coverage and it gives you a little bit of a distressed look. And now we're going to create the things for the middle. So in the middle, we're going to have some Easter eggs and some bunnies. And then I have this transfer for the eggs. And you can decoupage on these, which I thought about, but I decided just to go with the transfer, and I might keep the other two and decoupage on those. So I'm going to get a little bit of the sticky off of the back of this transfer so that it doesn't lift my paste up when I take it off the eggs. Alright, so we're going to do the polka dots on this one. See, this is, done that before. Okay, so we're going to use this polka dot one, and I'm going to mix things up a little bit. So we're going to use some raspberry sorbet and some eggshell and some peony, I think, maybe. And this is one of my favorites, kosher teal. Absolutely. They're very fun. So we've got that. So that's our first little egg done. We're going to set that aside somewhere and let it dry. How am I doing on time? Oh, I'm good. Okay. And then we're going to do the other one. And I want to do this. So I'm going to do the other one in this floral design. To just use on something else. Then I'm going to pull up the transfer, pop that in some water, and then we've got this. So this is actually one of my favorite ways to mix color. One, it's easier. than what I did with the polka dots, which is called a paste and peel. And it's definitely easier than trying to do multiple colors all at the same time when you're trying to keep your colors separated. And I think it's really pretty. And now we're going to do the bunnies. I think it's going to work. And then what I think I'm going to do, it has a little spot on the transfer to make the tail. But I think I'm going to take some buffalo snow. Or if I can actually find some cotton balls, then I'm going to make 3D tails for them. Okay. So we're going to use, this is a paste color called Storm, which is just a kind of a dark gray. I'm just going to use Storm on all of them. And there's the second. Don't fall. And then there's the third. All right, so bunnies are finished. Eggs are finished. Depending on where I decide I want to put this, I might then do the other side of the bunnies so that both sides are done. You can turn a transfer over, put the non-sticky side down, and paste that way so you get the mirror image. And chalk has transfer tape that you can use, or you can use painter's tape. Just be kind of careful to hold it in place, since you don't have the sticky side holding it in place. But you can do that if you want to get a mirror image of something, or if you want to chalk something backwards. All right, we're going to lay these down so that they don't fall over on me while they're drying. Okay, now back to my tray, which is nice and dry. And are my eggs dry? Yep, my eggs are nice and dry. So what I'm going to do first is start to put down. Now, one thing I did think about doing, and I might still do this, is I have some, you know, those cardboard trays that you can get for parties that you can like put down, and they kind of look fancy. But then you're not spending a lot of money on like really fancy trays to like put hors d'oeuvres and stuff on. I have some of those, and I could, if I were so inclined, take the Spanish moss, take the eggs, take the bunnies, and glue all of those to one of those trays that would then just lift in and out of this one. So we'll see. I might end up going that route. Although for storage purposes, not doing that would probably be a little bit easier. So we're gonna take my Spanish moss, brand new bag, pull some of it out, get it everywhere because that's just what it does. There we go. Okay. And then start to just separate it. So I've got enough space to pull it apart and then put the eggs and the bunnies down inside it. I'm gonna have to run the vacuum in here when I am finished. That's okay. If you're not making a mess, you're not really crafting, my opinion. But I am also like a messy, well, I don't cook, my husband cooks, but I like to bake. So I like to make cookies and brownies and stuff. And I am, especially if I am baking for the holidays, which I really haven't done in several years, but years ago I used to do a lot of baking for the holidays, make fudge and cookies, and that's kind of what my family got. Everybody got, you know, big batches of stuff. And I mean, I use every bowl in the kitchen. My husband would come up and be like, "No, go away. You're going to hover over me. You're going to like, I know I'm making a mess. I know you're frowning upon me," because he's one of those like, likes to keep it clean. He'll wash a bowl to reuse it so he doesn't have to dirty another bowl. I'm like, nope, that is not how that works. I don't have time. Put a little bit more of the green and put it back here. And I mean, you could use Easter grass. I actually have some of the paper Easter grass that I might end up adding back into this to give it some color, because I have like a teal color and a like a yellow color of that. And so let's see. And then you just kind of come in and arrange this however you want. Move the stuff around so that the eggs and bunnies will sit as flat as possible on the bottom of the tray. Yeah, see, might have to tape it. Maybe not glue it, but there might have to be some double-sided tape here just to keep it steady once I get it where I want it. Going to move him up here. And then you could also add, I have some of the little, you know, wooden eggs. Okay, that was my 15-minute warning. Okay. Some of the little wooden eggs that you can go in and you could paint and put in here, or you put plastic eggs in here. Stay. And we're just going to put this little one up here. So there's that. So now we've got the Spanish moss and the eggs and the bunnies. And then I'm going to come in and, excuse me, my stomach is growling, telling me it's lunchtime. I have this whole bin of, well, okay. Where's my, we're going to have to tape this. All right, double-sided tape it is. I tried. Velcro, yeah. Oh, yeah, Royce, that's a good idea. Ooh, I have Velcro too. Where is my Velcro? If it's where it should be, it is in this drawer. Ooh, actually, do I still have Velcro? That is a good question. I might actually be out now that I think about it. But yes, Velcro would be a very good idea. We will try the score tape and see. And I need to put Velcro on my... I gotta run to Michael's this afternoon and pick up an order anyway. So I should get some Velcro. So I do like the score tape. It actually works really well. Even for these like heavy... Oh, come on. Even for these heavy pieces, it actually does a very nice job. And I use it a lot for cards and scrapbooking because I don't like glue. I'm bad with glue. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, I will mess with that later. But see if we can get these to hold still for me long enough. Come on. to get some flowers in here. So I have my flowers and I have my tin snips. And let's see, I actually want to do some of these little ones. I'm just gonna just put these in various places. Try not to cut myself with the tin snips, because then you get some color with the flowers, and that way you're not locking yourself into any particular color scheme, because you haven't glued anything. You know, I used enough different colors in the eggs that you can easily swap out your flowers. You didn't paint the tray. You're kind of stuck with a very neutral color there, so that you can, again, use it for kind of anything. And honestly, like the Spanish moss and stuff for fall, like summer and fall, you can swap out. Even Christmas, you don't even have to swap that out. You just add to it with whatever florals you want or other sort of embellishments that you want. Let's see, put some more of these pink daisies in here. And then there's all kinds of other little Easter, spring, trinkety kinds of things that you could put in here to add to it or not. So, okay, let's see. I had another thought. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Shoot. Okay, I forgot. So we can do it like this. I just have to be careful. Okay, I'm going to take the bunnies and the eggs out before they keep falling over. And then figure out how to, yep, I think Velcro might be the way to go. But what I wanted to also do was, and I can show you all this while it's like this. So I have my little ink dauber, I have my little thing of Tim Holtz Distress Ink. This is Vintage Photo. This is probably one of my favorite ones. And so we're just going to take this and get a little bit on my dauber, and we're just going to go along the outer edge of this tray with the ink, and you're just going to add just a little bit of a level of distressing to it. And that just gives it that extra something. I also thought about, again, this was sort of where I was going back and forth in my head with, did I want this tray to really be kind of an exclusively spring thing, because I have some Dixie Belle chameleon wax. Thanks, Teresa. In a like lavender, actually I think it's lilac, in a lilac color. So chameleon wax, I think, is what, it's gilding wax, but they keep gilding wax as the name for their silver and gold and bronze and that sort of thing. So I think chameleon wax is what they call the others, like the other stuff, the non-metallics. And so it works the same way. If you're familiar with the gilding wax, the chameleon wax works the same way. But again, I didn't want to lock this in to something that was really kind of spring. So again, that crafter's choice on how you do that. And then I'm gonna see if I can hold this up a little bit so you can see just a little of what that kind of does there. Hey, Cheryl. And then you can get as heavy with this as you want, I could go around on the inside to add another layer. I could go around completely on the outside to add some. You could also go back over it again with another color of the Distress ink. There's all kinds of different colors. There's one, I think it's called Linen, which would actually look really nice with this too, because on the white that's going to show up. You could also take a gator sander and just go on the edge, or a sanding block, or just a little piece of sandpaper, just very fine grit sandpaper, and go along the edge of this, and it's going to take a little bit of that paint off and give you a bit of a distressed look. So you got multiple ways to create a distressed look on something, all of which I think work equally well. It just kind of depends on if you're looking to add color with your distressing or looking to just distress something. You can do all of the things to add layer upon layer of a distressed look, which looks really cool. Because I could also even then just take a gator sander and go like around these outer edges and just sand down a little bit of that paint and kind of create some more distressing on the outside. If I were using this without anything in it, or if I were using this maybe with just like a candle in the center, I might be a little more inclined to do that. Sorry I'm late. I just woke up. Night shift is great unless you need to do day stuff. Yes, I get that. And you are not late. I tell people that whenever they arrive is when they were supposed to be there. So that's perfectly fine. But I think because of the stuff I'm putting in the middle, I don't really need to decorate the outside all that much, because that's not going to be where your focal point is. Your focal point's going to be on the stuff that's in the middle. Okay, so, but I've got a little bit of that distressing added. I'm going to go back in. Actually, I think this was the front, because I have this little white flower in the front there. So I'm going to go back in. I'm going to stick these bunnies and eggs back in here for just one final look. See if they'll stay standing for me. Actually, I think this bunny was in the back because he's taller. And this egg. And the little bunny was up front. And my polka dot egg is over here. And we're going to have to figure out a way to secure all this so they stop falling over. Stop falling over. So there we go. So that's our little Easter centerpiece, vignette, call it whatever you want. I don't know what to call it. And I probably will paint some small wooden eggs and put in here just to add a little more color. Thank you. Yep, I like the colors too. I like spring colors. They're very, I mean, I don't know. They're feel good. They're feel good. They put you in a good mood kind of colors. I like that. All right. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. You have 8 more folks coming along behind me in this raid train. And I am going to, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? I'm going to take my phone out of this mount real quick so that I can maneuver us into our next show. So again, thank you all for being with us. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening and weekend. Make sure to pop in on everybody throughout the rest of the day if you can. And we are going to create a raid and we are going to go see Royce. So everybody stay on and let's go say hi to Royce.